Set the session also in the record mode. Now let us discuss the different types of capital which we will be using it while preparing the balance sheet and notes to account. So the first and the foremost, in any problem if you see, you'll come across like X Limited is registered with or the authorized capital of the company was 1 crore. So the word authorized capital or the word registered capital will be mentioned in the question. So which means that is nothing but it referring to the authorized capital of the company. So it means the capital which is authorized by the memorandum of association. So as you know, like the articles of association and memorandum of association are considered to be the two important documents of a company which we'll have to submit it to the register of companies to get our license or to get the certificate of commencement of business, etc., etc. So, in the authorized capital is nothing but it is a maximum amount which the company can get by issuing the shares of a company. So, the first one is authorized capital. Okay, the first one is authorized capital. So, in which books it should have been mentioned? This is mentioned in your memorandum of association. In which document it will be mentioned? It will be mentioned in your memorandum of association. Whereas with respect to your interest on calls in advance and interest on calls in advance, calls in arrears, which document is being referred? When we discussed yesterday about the calls in arrears and calls in advance, we also discussed something called interest on calls in arrears, interest on calls in advance. When we discussed on that topic, what was the document that was specified and insisted? Hello? Very good. So there we had discussed on article of association, but here we are discussing about the memorandum of association. So it is mentioned in the memorandum of association, and the second important point is it is the maximum amount. You can see here it is a maximum amount which the company can raise as capital. It is also known as registered capital or nominal capital. Okay. So second point is it is your maximum amount that can be raised as capital. Okay, this is a maximum amount which the company can raise it. Okay, maximum that can be raised as capital by issuing shares. The next point, as I said, it is also called, okay, the other name. This is also very important. So other names of authorized capital are nominal capital. Okay, it is also called as your nominal capital. If not, it is otherwise called as registered capital. These are the technical terms you have to understand with respect to authorized capital. So the first capital which we are discussed right now is authorized capital. It will be mentioned in the memorandum of association of the company. It is a maximum amount that the company can raise it as a capital by issuing shares, and it has two other names: nominal capital and registered capital. Is this clear to you all? Is it clear to you all? Okay. Now let me give you an example. Okay. Example: there is a company by means X Limited was registered with an authorized capital of rupees 10 lakhs. So that means the amount with which they are going to start the business, or the maximum amount of the capital in that particular company is 10 lakhs, not more than that. And based on this value only, they are going to decide what is the number of shares that they have to bring in the market so that the shares get subscribed and they get the required capital. So here it is mentioned X Limited was registered with an authorized capital of rupees 10 lakhs divided into, because the share capital we discussed in the morning yesterday, it is a fraction or part of your capital. So that means we are dividing this. Okay, rupees 10 lakhs divided into equity shares or preference shares, however it can be. It can be divided in either way. Okay, like 5 lakhs of equity and 5 lakhs of preference, or entirely as equity. So divided into equity shares of rupees 100 each. So now if you see, this is your authorized capital value and this is your face value. With the help of these two only, you will mention how many shares are there in the company. That is, what is the composition of this 10 lakhs. So which is nothing but the amount of 10 lakhs divided by the face value of 100, cancel out the common zeros. What is the remaining value? 10,000. If you cancel the common zeros, will you be left over with 10,000? So that means you can say that the company X Limited has got 10,000 shares on the whole of rupees 100, and this is how that leads to 10 lakh rupees. Is this clear to you all? Hello? Can you able to hear me? Can you able to hear me, ma? Because I'm not getting your response properly. Okay. Do you find any difficulty in understanding, or is there any discrepancy in the audio of mine? Is my audio is clear to you? Okay, okay, fine. So, okay. Now, here we are finalized that the company has got 10,000 shares on the whole. Okay, if they issue this 10,000 shares, they will get the amount of 10 lakhs. Okay, but one thing you have to understand is the authorized capital is one more point which I have to incorporate here is it is the maximum amount that can be raised as a capital by issuing shares during its lifetime. Okay, during the lifetime of the business. Okay, during the lifetime of the company or the business, as you can say. So that means you all know that the company will be existing forever. So now we know that 10 lakhs the maximum capital, and the 10 lakhs ku 10,000 shares combine achna, you will get that amount. But it is not necessary that company should bring all the 10,000 shares in one single shot at one point of time itself. So now the company can take a call. Let me bring into the market at present some 8,000 shares or 6,000 shares, because 10,000 is a maximum amount of shares, or 10,000 is the maximum quantity of shares. So out of 10,000, let me bring now 6,000 or 7,000 and hold on the remaining 3,000 or 2,000 as the case may be. So here comes the next category, issued capital. So this represents that part of authorized capital which is offered for subscription. So the second concept which we are going to learn is issued capital. The second category is your issued capital. It says very clearly it is a part of authorized capital. It is a part of your authorized capital which is issued to the public for subscription. So issued to public for subscription. So in my example which I mentioned above, I said that company has got authorized capital of how much? 10 lakhs divided into 10,000 shares. So once again, authorized capital 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Now, the issued capital is a part of this authorized capital. Issued capital, company can bring entire 10,000 as one single shot, or they will hold on few. Say for example, I'm going to hold on some 3,000 shares. So company is issuing only 7,000 shares at present. So 7,000 shares of rupees 100 each. So now the company has issued only 7,000 shares out of its 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Thereby, at present, company is in need of only 7 lakh rupees. Is this clear to you? Is this clear to you? Okay. The next is third concept is subscribed capital. The third concept is subscribed capital. Now comes here. This refers to, that is, subscribed capital refers to that part of issued capital which has been applied for and also allotted by the company. So subscribed capital is nothing but it is a part of your issued capital. It is a part of your issued capital subscribed by the public. Okay, subscribed by the public and allotted by the company. So in the above example, okay, as we have discussed, once again let me make you understand. The authorized capital we saw like it was 10,000 shares of rupees how much? 100 each. Okay. Issued was the issued capital was 7,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Now, based on the issue only, you can come to a conclusion how much got subscribed. So, subscribed capital. When it comes to subscribed capital, just remember the three important things. What are they? It can be equal subscription, it can be an over subscription, or it can be an under subscription. Okay, you have got three things: equal subscription or full subscription, under subscription, or over subscription. So in this case, if company issued 7,000 and company received 7,000 means it is an equal subscription. Company issued 7,000 and company received 8,000, it is an over subscription. Company issued 7,000 but company received only 6,000, then it is a case of under subscription. So this leads to your subscribed capital. So subscribed capital, as I said, your issued capital is a part of your authorized capital, and subscribed capital is a part of your issued capital, which is being subscribed by the public. So there comes the concept of subscription, over subscription or under subscription or equal subscription. So as it says, suppose subscribed capital, company has subscribed, okay, all 7,000 shares, okay, 7,000 shares of rupees 100 each. So what type of subscription is this? Very good. Suppose company has received 8,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Then it is over, right? Here it is equal. In this case, it is over subscription. The third case, okay, company has got how much? 6,000, I'm saying it. Okay, 6,000 shares of rupees 100 each. So what type of subscription is this? 6,000 means under subscription. When it comes to under subscription, what is the first and the foremost criteria that should strike your mind? Immediately, what is the one? Very good. Check out for 90 percentage. So here, in which you will check for 90%? You will check on 6,000 or you will check it on the 7,000 on the issued capital. எதில் check பண்ணுங்க? Issued capital தான் நீங்க செக் பண்ணுங்க. So company issue பண்ண 7,000. So 7,000 issue பண்ணதுல 90% எவ்வளவு? So that 90% you will be okay calculating on the issued capital, that will give you a value. That value should match your subscribed capital. Got the concept? So the application of 90 percentage will be on the issued capital, and that will fetch you a value. That value should be equal to 90% or it can be more than 90%, not an issue. But if it's less than 90%, obviously you can proceed further. You have to refund the money back. So here, if 7,000 is your issued capital, just find out what is 90 percentage of 7,000. 7,000 into 90 by 100. Cancel the common zeros. You got 700 into 9. That will give you 9 sevens are how much? 54, right? Sorry, 63, right? How much is 9 sevens are? 63. Am I right? Hello? Hello? Are you there? Okay, what is 9 sevens are? Or 7 nines are? You have to be fast in your tables. 63, right? Followed by two zeros. So now you look into it. You are getting 6,300 shares. So if 7,000 shares are being issued by the company, then at least you have to get 6,300 shares as your minimum subscription. Okay, so 6,300 shares as minimum, okay, subscription. Now you tell me, in my example, how much I have given as subscription. In the third case, how much is being given as a subscription? 6,000 is given as a subscription. It is an under subscription, but will you carry forward? Will you be able to do further calculations on this? No. So this case you will refund. You will refund the money back. You can't go further. So that's why we always say don't proceed further unless and otherwise you don't do that first checklist. Okay, if you're not doing the initial checklist of 90% subscription, then entire problem you'll go wrong. Always calculate the 90% minimum subscription and then proceed further. Is this clear to you? Suppose in the same case, if you are getting here 6,500, okay, it is mentioned like 6,500 shares. In that case, it is under subscription only, but still you can proceed further because you have reached the minimum subscription limit. Am I making sense to you? This is a case which you can proceed further. Okay. So I think as of now you don't have any confusion with respect to what is authorized capital, what is issued capital, what is subscribed capital. And in that the three different categories: equal subscription, over subscription, under subscription. Everything is clear to you, right? Okay. Now we are going to discuss something called as called up capital. Okay. We are going to discuss something called as called up capital. So the word itself says it is something which you are going to make a call. So it refers to that part of your subscribed capital which has been called up by the company for the payment. Okay. So that means it is a part of what capital? It's a part of your subscribed capital. Okay. So called up capital is a part of subscribed capital which the company, okay, calls for the payment. So called up capital is a part of the subscribed capital which the company, okay, calls for the payment against the shares. So it is a part of your subscribed capital which the company calls for payment against the shares. Okay, so this is what they say. Now you said here it is a part of your subscribed capital. Okay, so that means whatever the calls you are doing it, you will be calculating it only on the subscribed capital. Am I making clear to you? That's the reason, even in case of over subscription, initially the application money what you get, that alone you calculate on the number of applications received. But apart from that, the allotment money due calculation and call money due calculations, all those calculations you go only with the subscribed capital which is to be allotted, not the one which the public have applied for. Okay, because what is subscribed capital? Subscribed capital denoting to that part of issued capital. நான் சொல்ற புரியுதா? ஓவர் சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் கேஸ்லயும் நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க? இனிஷியல் அப்ளிகேஷன் மணி ரிசீவ் ஆனது மட்டும் தான் என்னது அந்த எக்ஸஸ் அப்ளிகேஷன் மணியோட சேர்த்து கால்குலேட் பண்றீங்க. பட் அலாட்மெண்ட் மணி டியூ அமௌண்ட் கால்குலேட் பண்ணும்போதும் சரி, கால் மணி டியூவோடது கால்குலேஷன் பண்ணும்போதும் சரி, யூ ஆர் ஒன்லி டேக்கிங் இன்டு அக்கவுண்ட் ஹவு மச் த கம்பெனி ஹேஸ் brought ஃபார் த இஷ்யூ. கம்பெனி இனிஷியலாக இஷ்யூக்கு எவ்வளோ கொண்டு வந்திருக்காங்களோ அந்த ஷேர்ஸில் தான் நீங்கள் அலாட்மெண்ட் டியூவும் கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறீங்க. அந்த ஷேர் குவான்டிட்டியில் நீங்கள் வந்து கால் மணி டியூவும் கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறீங்க. ஏன்? ஏன்னா சப்ஸ்கிரைப்டு கேபிட்டல் இஸ் அ பார்ட் ஆஃப் யுவர் இஷ்யூடு கேபிட்டல். அந்த ரீசன்னால தான் நீங்கள் இஷ்யூடு கேபிட்டலை வந்து பேஸ் ஆச்சு கால்குலேட் பண்ணுறீங்க. ஆம் ஐ மேக்கிங் சென்ஸ் டு யூ? Can you able to understand why we follow subscribed capital or why we take only the number of shares issued by the company while in case of over subscriptions? Logic புரியுதா? Okay, so that's why we'll say subscribed capital is a part of your issued capital. So உங்களுக்கு இதெல்லாம் அப்ஜெக்டிவ்ஸாகவும் வரலாம். Okay, match the following or true or false or MCQ. Okay, dash capital is a part of subscribed capital or dash capital is a part of your, okay, authorized capital. Like that they can ask you in MCQs. So for that purpose only I'm giving all these things with an example. So here there's a part of your subscribed capital. The called up capital is a part of your subscribed capital which the company makes for the payment against the shares that has been allotted. Okay, so that against the shares allotted. I hope up to this you don't have any doubt. Everything is clear, right? Okay, and then comes paid up capital. Okay, The next segment is paid up capital. So again, it is a part of your called up capital which has been actually paid by the shareholders. So that means paid up capital is referring to, okay, part of what capital? Called up capital. It is a part of your called up capital which the company has received the money against the value that is called against the shares from the shareholders. So it is a part of your called up capital, okay, which has been actually paid by the shareholders. So since it's a paid up capital, it's a part of your called up capital paid by shareholders. So when you make a call, say for example, okay, you have got subscription for 7,000 shares in Expo. Example. Okay, example is company issued 7,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Okay. Company received 7,000 shares of rupees 100 each. Okay. Now, the issued is also there and the subscribed is also there. Now, this 100 rupees is a face value, right? Rupees 100 is your face value. In the problem, you have got the split up for the 100 rupees. Rupees 25 on application, another 30 rupees on allotment, and rupees 45 on first and final call. So only if you make these payments, you will be receiving the amount of rupees 7 lakhs. That is you in a sense company. Okay, and the respective shareholders will become the owner of the company for the number of shares what they have applied for. So now what I'm going to make you understand is the called up capital and the paid up capital. Suppose the company has received application money, because this you will be getting hand over hand immediately. There won't be any due for the application. So in this alone you won't have any due. Immediately you will be getting it. So that means on 7,000 shares, if you calculate the amount of rupees 25, you will get one value. What is that value? Calculate and tell me what is the value you'll get if you multiply 7,000 with 25. What is 7,000 multiplied by 25? Is it rupees 1,75,000? Rupees 1,75,000 Vardama? Okay, so that means suppose they are giving you a question. X Limited have issued these many shares for subscription. Company received these many shares from the public as the response. The face value of the share is 100. The split up of the values have been given to us. Okay, the split up of the values has been given to us, and accordingly, they say you to calculate what is the called up capital. So you'll say when no information is given, like whether the company has done the allotment or the company has done the first call or not, then at that point of time you'll only calculate the application money alone, and you'll see the called up capital is rupees 1,70,000. Suppose in the question they say company has made the application money or collected the application money and allotment money. In the question, they say the company has received the money against application and allotment. That means they have completed the first stage and the second stage out of these three stages, as per this example is concerned. So that means you will go for the next round also. So that means 7,000 shares of rupees 30 each. So 7,000 into 30, what will be the value? Will it be an amount of rupees 2,10,000? Okay. So in this case, how you will report this? The called up capital is rupees 55 per share, and the total amount you will say separately. Okay, that means called up capital. Okay, this called up capital will be rupees 55 per share. So though the entire share value was 100, but company has done as of now only application money and allotment money. Okay, so thereby called up capital is rupees 55 per share. Okay, and the total amount of these two can also be quoted. That is rupees. Okay, you are going to say in such a way. Called up capital is okay rupees 55 per share. That is when you add these two value, how much you will get it? You'll be getting an amount of rupees 3,85,000 rupees, right? Am I right? If you add these two values, application money and allot money, so you'll mention like called up capital is equal to 7,000 shares of rupees 55 each, that is equal to rupees 3,85,000. Now are you clear like how to find out the called up capital? Per share called up capital means how to denote it, and based on the number of shares, how to derive it. Any doubt in this as of now? Okay, okay. So this is your what capital? Called up capital. Now we also discussed what is paid up capital here. Okay, for that example only I took this as a base. So paid up capital is nothing but a part of called up capital paid by the shareholders. So that means the company has now made application and they are completed the allotment. So thereby the routine, the cycle has now stopped at this point of junction. Rupees 55 per share. And as of now, the company should have received rupees 3,85,000. Now, if all the shareholders, example, if all shareholders have paid money due against allotment, okay, if all shareholders have paid the money due against allotment, then your paid up capital, okay, then your paid up capital will be the same amount rupees 3,85,000. Okay, if all the shareholders have paid the money due against the allotment means, then the paid up capital will also be rupees same 3,85,000. ஏன்னா மேலே கொடுத்துருக்க என்ன கேபிட்டல் இது கால்ட் அப் கேபிட்டல் வேல்யூ, இது கால்ட் அப் கேபிட்டல் வேல்யூ. ஸோ எந்த ஒரு ஷேர் ஹோல்டர்ஸுமே எந்த டியூவும் வைக்காம அரியர் வைக்காம பக்காவா அந்த ஸ்டேஜ் வரைக்கும் கம்பெனி கூப்பிட்ட ஸ்டேஜ் வரைக்கும் எல்லாமே கிளியர் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா யுவர் கால்ட் அப் கேபிட்டலும் பெய்ட் அப் கேபிட்டலும் ஈக்குவலாக இருக்கும். சப்போஸ் ஓகே, now comes if one shareholder holding 100 shares failed to pay his allotment money. This is the information given to us. If one shareholder fail, okay, to pay his allot money on the 100 shares what he is holding, then in this case, what will be your paid up capital that you have to find out. So how you will find out? Quite simple. What is the amount that you have to receive? Amount to be received on the whole. Amount to be received. The amount to be received you have calculated here. That is your called up capital value. Rupees 3,85,000. Okay. That is the amount which you have to receive on the whole. So rupees 3,85,000. Okay. In this, what is the amount that you have not received that you have to subtract it? Less amount not received. That means on 100 shares, you have not received which value? The allotment money you have not received. What is the value of allotment? 30 rupees. So you have to calculate what is 30 rupees on 100 shares. So what will be the value? 30 into 100 will give you what is the amount? 3000. 3000 ma. So now the value will be as 3 lakh 82. So if this is a case, then what will be your answer? The called up capital will be the same amount, 3 lakh 85,000, but the paid up capital will be an amount of rupees, how much? 3 lakh 82,000. புரியுதா? கான்செப்ட் புரியுதா? பெய்ட் அப் கேபிட்டல்னா என்ன, கால்ட் அப் கேபிட்டல்னா என்ன, இஷ்யூட் கேபிட்டல்னா என்ன, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் கேபிட்டல்னா என்ன, ஆத்தரைஸ்டு கேபிட்டல்னா என்னங்கிற மாதிரி சப்டிவிஷன்ஸும் சரி, அது எப்படி ஒன் டு ஒன் இன்டர்லிங்க்டாக இருக்குங்கிற கான்செப்டும் புரியுதா? ரைட், ஓகே. ஏன்னா இங்கே உங்களுக்கு எதுவும் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொடுக்கல. இங்கே ஜஸ்ட்டு தியரி நோட்ஸ் மாதிரி தான் இருக்குது. ஓகே, ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் மேக்கிங் யூ டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வித் சம் ஈஸி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டபிள் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ். Okay, that's why I'm just asking you whether you're able to understand or not. Right. Then comes you reserve capital. Okay, so what is that? If you see, the company can reserve a part of its subscribed capital to be called up only at the time of winding up. It is called reserve capital. So subscribed capital ஒரு part of the capital they can reserve it. ஓகே, ஸோ கம்பெனி இஷ்யூ பண்ணுற கேபிட்டலுக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் வருது இல்லையா, அந்த வர சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷனில் ஒரு பார்ட் ஆஃப் த கேபிட்டல் தே கேன் அலோகேட்டட் டுவர்ட்ஸ் திஸ் ரிசர்வ் கேபிட்டல் that is useful only at the time of winding up. So the last category which we are going to see is, okay, reserve capital. So reserve capital சொன்னாக்க it is a part of what capital? Reserve capital is a part of subscribed capital. Okay, so reserve capital is nothing but it is a part of your subscribed capital which the company has kept separately and it will be used when the time of winding up. Okay, it's a part of your what capital? Part of your subscribed capital and it will be called up. Okay, so they will not call the money on this, they'll okay call up only at the time of winding up. So part of subscribed capital, okay, which will be okay, it's a part of your subscribe capital which will be called up at the time of winding up. That is closure. So business இழுத்து மூடும் போது தான் இதுக்கான யூசேஜ் வரும். Okay, So I'll just give you 2 minutes time. Okay, just you refer the points as mentioned here. Okay, 1 minute. Let me, probably if you want to take notes also, you take it up. Okay, just 2 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes. So, தெரியுதா இது? Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so shall we go with the next concept? Clarity இருக்குல்லமா? The topic what we discussed today: authorized, issued, subscribed, called up, paid up, reserve capital. All these things, I hope you understood the concepts clearly in depth. Which is the part of which capital, which is a part of what capital, all those things. Okay, so now few more important points. I just want you to keep you understood. What are they, if you ask? First, 1 minute. These are some special notes. First one, in case of issue of shares on consideration basis other than cash, never to round off the quantum of shares, not only shares, never to round off the quantum of shares or debentures to be issued. What is it, if you ask, means normally we have a practice of rounding up the values. பார்ட்னர்ஷிப்லலாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்க நம்ம டிவைட் பண்ணுவோம் ஈக்குவலாக வராது ஒரு சில கேஸில். அப்போது அந்த கேஸை we need to round up the வேல்யூங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஓகே, யாரோ ஒரு பார்ட்னர் கொஞ்சம் ஒரு வேல்யூ 1 ரூபி எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கொடுக்குற மாதிரி இருக்கும். தட் இஸ் feasible, that is acceptable in case of partnership. But company accounts வரும்போது, and that too when you are being asked to find out how many shares or debentures that you have to issue to the vendor or to the promoter or to the underwriters to compensate your purchase consideration value. If the amount is exactly divisible, there is no issues. If in case the value goes in the decimals, yes, it will go in decimals. Don't okay think that decimals varade அப்படின்ட்டு decimals varum. Okay, if the value goes in decimals, you are not supposed to round up, even though the after decimal the first digit is 5 or more than 5. For example, okay, let me give you an example. Value of rupees 8 lakhs is due. I'm just giving an example. Okay, value of rupees 8 lakhs is your purchase consideration. And for this, you are going to issue shares at 10 percentage discount or debentures at 10 percentage discount. Now, what will be your issue price? Provided if the face value of share or debenture is mentioned as rupees 100. So that means discount will be 10 rupees. Am I right? Your discount amount will be rupees 10 and your issue price will be, what will be your issue price? Issue price will be rupees 90. How? 100 rupees face value, subtract rupees 10 discount, that will give you the issue price as rupees 90. I hope you all understand this concept, right? Okay. The most important formula, there is a formula to find out number of shares or debentures to be issued. The formula remains same. Okay, number of shares or debentures to be issued is equal to amount payable. That is, in the purchase consideration value, what is the amount actually that you have to pay? Because you have various means of settlement. This 8 lakh can be settled completely by issuing shares or debentures. If not, you can clear some portion of value of 8 lakhs by paying cash, some portion by issuing check or by accepting a bill of exchange, and the remaining alone you may go for the issuing of shares or debentures. So in this case, I'm accepting in such a way that the entire value of 8 lakh, I'm going to settle it by issuing shares or debentures. So that means the amount payable as per this example is rupees 8 lakh. So amount payable divided by issue price. Amount payable by issue price. This will give me the quantity of debentures or shares that I have to bring in. So that means 8 lakh rupees divided by 90. Cancelling out the common zeros, I am getting 80,000 divided by 9. So what will be the value? Just find out and tell me. 80,000 divided by 9. You will be getting how much? 8,888.888 it goes. Check it up. Are you getting it? Okay. If that being the case, then what you should do is you have to take only this portion. That is, you will take only 8,888 shares or debentures according to that problem. Okay. You will take only 8,888 shares or debentures. Now you will be passing a journal entry for this. Imagine that the person to whom you have to settle is the vendor name is given as X Limited. Okay, so the vendor name as per the problem is X Limited. So the journal to be passed will be in such a way. Of course, we'll be learning journal separately. I'm just giving some special note. Okay, so X Limited account will be debited, and how we are settling either by shares or debentures. We'll take it for example, we are doing it by shares. Okay, so X Limited account debited. I'm leaving one line. Okay, I say for what purpose? To equity share capital account, and this is a case where you have issued at a discount. Okay, so that means it will be mentioned as discount on issue of shares or discount on issue of debentures. Okay, let it go with the debenture concept. Okay, so to percentage debentures, to percentage debenture account, and there is a discount involved in this, so the discount should be debited. So I'm mentioning here as discount on issue of what? Discount on issue of debenture account. Okay, now these are all the items, or these are all the accounts that has to be fixed up, will be debited. Now you fix the values. How you going to fix? Number of debenture or number of shares to be issued is 8,888. So 8888. You have to do the multiplication. Okay. Now what is the discount price? If you see, it is 10 rupees. Am I right? The amount of discount is 10 rupees. Correct? Okay. Then the issue price was 90. That will be over here. Correct? Issue price எவ்வளோக்கு நீங்கள் issue பண்ணுறீங்க 90 rupeesக்கு. Correct? Now you calculate and tell me what is the amount that you'll get if you are going to multiply 90 with 8,888. If you multiply 8,888 into 90, what is the amount that you'll get? You'll get an amount of rupees 7 lakh 99,920. Will this be your value? 7,99,920. Similarly, calculate that value 8888 into 10. How much you'll be getting it? 88,880. Am I right? Okay. When you add these two value, that means 799,920 plus 88,880. How much you'll get it? Check it up. There are two items in the debit. Okay, if you club these two value, what will be the net value? அது இன்னும் ஈஸி. இங்கே பேஸில் கிரெடிட்டில் வந்து பார்த்தா 100 rupees. சப்போ 8,888 into 100 பண்ணால் என்ன வேல்யூ வரும்? 8,88,800. Very good. Okay, so 8,88,800. Right? Okay. So look at this. The amount I settled to the vendor is 8,88,800, but discount of 88,880. Okay, so you have to do the calculations when it comes to in decimals. A proper calculation is very important. You are not supposed to round up. Okay, rounding off பண்ணக்கூடாது. 8,888 நீங்கள் calculate பண்ணி போகணும். Is it clear to you? But you பாருங்க settlement partனாக்க you have done only to the extent of how much? You have done to the extent of 7,99,920. Discount 88,880. So this put together comes to 8,88,800. Okay, so the payment partner 8 lakhs, but நீங்க pay பண்ணது partner discount போக, this is the amount. Is it clear to you? So never to round up the value. This is one point which you have to keep in mind, whether let it be shares or let it be debentures. Is this clear to you? Okay. The second important point is when it is a case of an oversubscription. Okay. In case of, these are some special points to be kept before we go for the problem. In case of over subscriptions, you can use the excess application money against allotment due. But however, if any balance amount exists in excess application, okay, however, if any balance amount exists in excess application, it can be used against call money due unless otherwise, okay, unless otherwise specified in the question. This is one checklist. You can take it for granted. You can use your excess application money can be adjusted against your allotment money due, but at any cost, the adjustment towards call money due can't be done unless otherwise it is stated or specified in the question. This is one important point that has to be kept in mind. This is clear to you? This is clear to you? Okay. And also when it comes to the over subscription case where you have category based problem. Okay. So category based problem. You'll come across these problems. Okay, category based problem. You have to use a formula. Okay, in category based problem, use formula to derive the number of shares applied or number of shares allotted. So for this, you need not mug up the formula. Okay, in case of oversubscription cases where there is a formula actually, this formula you need not mug up it. Okay, you can just straight away derive the formula. Have you ever come across this formula? Anyone? Textbookல இந்த ஃபார்முலா இருக்கு, யாரா எப்போ பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? ஓவர் சப்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் கேசஸில் பர்டிகுலராக இந்த மாதிரி கேட்டகரி பேஸ்ட் ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்கும்போது நம்பர் ஆஃப் ஷேர்ஸ் அப்ளைட் இல்லைனாக்கா அலாட்டட் டிரைவ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு there is one formula. Have you ever found out it? Have you ever noticed it? Did anyone notice the formula? How to find out the number of shares applied if allotted is given, and to find out allotted if applied is given. By any chance, have anyone come across? Hello. Have you ever noticed it? நம்ம எல்லாரும் அமைதியாக இருந்தால் என்ன அர்த்தம்? பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா பார்த்தது இல்லையா? ஓகே. ஸோ எங்கே இருக்குது அந்த ஃபார்முலா? லொக்கேட்டட். I'll give you time, don't worry. Take your time and locate the formula and tell me where you find the formula. It's open to all. Do you understand my question? Girls, did you understand my question?
And
9.39.
9.
Okay, let me come to page 9.39. Yes, when shares allotted are given, when shares applied are given. So what they used? They used a formula total shares applied divided by total shares allotted into number of shares allotted to shareholders. I would have not thought this formula, but still I have thought how to work out the problem because you can derive the formula, you did not mug up the formula. I'll say how it is. I said you here, in case of category based problem, used a formula to derive number of shares applied or allotted. Okay. Now, let me give an example to you in this. You have got two category. Category 1, category 2. Okay. Company issued 1 lakh shares, but company received 1 lakh 50,000 shares. So, just a minute. Okay. So here I mentioned category 1 and category 2. I've got the heading applied allotted. In category 1, I'm mentioning that I have got a total of 80,000 applicant and all the 80,000 has been allotted full like this or it is mentioned like full. And in category 2, what will be remaining if 80,000 goes in 1 lakh 50? What is the remaining balance? 70. For the 70, the company is allotting only 20. Now it is mentioned in this way one shareholder, one shareholder to whom, sorry, one shareholder belonging to category 1 or 2. Let us take 1 itself. One shareholder belonging to category 1 No, not one, because in one all fully is allotted. Okay, two. One shareholder belonging to category two to whom 1,000 shares were allotted failed to pay allotment money. Suppose this is an example that I given to you. Okay, you got 1,50,000 responses against 1 lakh shares what is issued by the company. They are divided the applicants in the categories 1 and 2. In one category you have 80,000 applicant, and for all those 80,000 they are allotting full 80,000. But in category 2 you have got only 70,000 applicants for whom they are giving 20,000 shares. And it was mentioned that one shareholder belonging to the category 2 to whom 1,000 shares were allotted, but he failed to pay allot money. So what you should find out, allotment shares, you don't know how much he has applied for. So you have to find that. So use this as your concept: applied and allotted. Now, to which category that particular shareholder belongs to? Category 2. So what is the base? 70, 20. So write that first. 70, 20. Whereas what is given the question? He has been allotted with 1,000. So you record 1,000 over here and put a question mark here. Just cross multiply. So what I'm doing it? I'm just getting the value as 70,000 multiplied with 1,000 divided by 20,000. So cancel the three zeros of this, three zeros of this, one zero of here, one zero of here, and then in two table 35 times 70 followed by two zeros. So thereby you have come to a conclusion that he has applied for 3,000 shares, but he has been allowed, so 3,500 shares, he has been given only 1,000 shares. Okay, now how to fix the value? This is the total applicant in that category. Total number of shares applied. I've used that in the numerator. So now the formula is total number of shares applied divided by, okay, what is the base one? Total number of shares allotted. Total number of shares allotted into this 1,000 referring to whom? It is referring to a particular shareholder, right? Into number of shares allotted. Okay, it is not total number of shares. You cannot say it's total, it is only for a particular person. So number of shares allotted. Number of shares allotted. Now you once again check your answer. The formula what is mentioned in the textbook. Is it matching? Does it match? So never to mug up the formula, derive the formula. That is what my concept is. If you mug up the formula, it will not stay forever. If you understand how the formula has been derived, any time at any point of time, you will able to derive it, you will able to prove it. So that's the reason I just said how to find out or calculate it. Now here I am saying you how to derive it or how to apply with the formula. ஸோ அப்போ இந்த ஃபார்முலா ஒரு புதுசு கிடையாது. இது எப்படி வருதுங்கிறது ஒன்றும் ஆச்சரியம் இல்லை. ஜஸ்ட் யூ கிராஸ் மல்டிப்ளைங் அண்ட் தென் யூ ஆர் ஜஸ்ட் அலோகேட்டிங் இட் வாட் டஸ் இட் ரெஃபர்ஸ் டு. ஸோ திஸ் 70,000 referring to your total number of shares applied, 20,000 referring to total number of shares allotted, and this 1,000 referring to number of shares allotted to a particular shareholder. So this is how you are finding out your number of shares applied. The reversal of this will be for number of shares allotted. clearer? Is it clear to you, ma?
Mhm.
Okay. So as of now, if you have any doubt, you just let me know. I'm just touch basing the areas which are all important before we go into a full-fledged problem. Because if you don't understand these logical things, of course, a full-fledged problem will become a tedious one. Okay, so never to round off the values, and then when it comes to a category based over subscription problem, you have to go with this formula, write the formula, and then derive the number of shares either applied or allotted, which is required as per the given problem is. Okay, this is the second point, and then the next important point is excess application money. You can use it against your allotment, but never it can be used just like that against calls unless and otherwise specified in your question. Okay, any doubt in this 3 point which you have to keep in mind? Okay, and then the fourth point is, it is very very important. What if you ask is, when it is a lump sum method? Okay, in case of lump sum method, okay, you have to open an account in the name of equity, means equity, preference means preference, equity share application and allotment account. Okay, the account should be as equity share application and allotment account. Okay, this is the account that has to be open. First one. The next one, when shares are issued at premium. Okay, when shares are issued at premium, you have to open security premium reserve account. Okay, you have to open security premium reserve account. Please do not use the shortcut. Do not write it as SPR account. If you write like this, marks will not be allotted. You are not supposed to use shortcuts. You have to write only in the full form. Okay, not only for SPR, whatever be it is, even if it is an investment fluctuation fund or investment fluctuation reserve, IFR, or investment fluctuation fund is also one and the same. They are not different. So when the shares are being issued at premium, you have to open security premium reserve account, and this security premium reserve is basically comes under the heads of liabilities. Am I right? SPR is basically a liability, okay, which will fall under the equity and liability category of your balance sheet. So, being a liability, initially it will be credited. When you are passing the journal entries, the SPR account, why you are crediting is, it is a liability. It comes under the heads of equity and liabilities, part of your balance sheet, which has been prepared as per Schedule 3, Part 1 of the Companies Act of 2013. So according to that, it is a liability. You are crediting it. But suppose if it is a forfeiture that takes place due to the non-payment of allotment money where there is a premium, then this SPR should be reversed. Of course, that we'll be learning it when we do the problems on forfeiture. The most important one more checkpoint is, if question remains silent. Okay, if question remains silent with respect to premium, that means the problem says that it is issued at a premium, but it is not mentioned anywhere where the premium amount is. So if question remains silent with respect to premium on shares, Okay, it is always on what? It is always on. It is always on allotment money. Okay, it is always on allotment money. And now, one more thing which you have to understand with respect to this premium is, suppose if you have premium, okay, if there is a premium in application money, if you have premium on application money as well as on the allotment, then where will you show this premium? That is how to pass entry. That also I'll tell you. If you have it on the, okay, if you have the application premium on application, then first entry you'll pass is bank account debit to equity share application account. So in the receipt entry, we won't show the premium. As application doesn't have any due, the next possible entry is transfer entry. So you'll transfer it to share capital. So the entry will be as equity share application account is debited, followed by this to equity share capital account. And here only you have to show the security premium reserve provided if there is a premium on application. So to security premium reserve account. Usually the premium amount will be appearing in the due entry. Okay, usually the premium amount will be shown, or the amount of premium will be shown in the due entry. Premium will be appearing in the due entry. Okay, but only for application money alone, there is no due. So the only possibility is to show in the transfer entry. Whereas if it is on allotment, okay, if it is on allotment, then first you will pass the due entry. The entry will be as equity share allotment account debit. Okay, equity share allotment account debit to equity share capital account, and then you will record to security premium reserve account, to SPR account, and then you will record your receipt entry as bank account debit to equity share allotment account. So remember, okay, only in the call money and in allotment money you will show the SPR, security premium reserve, in the due entry. But if there is any chances of premium appearing in your application, you should show it only in the transfer entry, not in the due entry. Is this clear to you? Is this clear to you? Hello? Kindly respond, ma. Have you understood this concept? Where will you record what? How to record what? Is this clear to you? Yeah. Okay. So there is only 4 moments. Okay. I don't want to take much time. Just to sum up the concept, whatever we have learned today. Okay. So we have learned today something called as the types of capital, where we have discussed what is an authorized capital is all about, where it will be mentioned, And what are the other names of your authorized capital? So nominal capital, registered capital, it is a maximum amount of capital which you can raise it from your local public by issuing the shares, but it should be all mentioned in the memorandum of association. And then you discuss some example and how to derive the number of shares, okay, from the authorized capital. Then issued capital is nothing but it's a part of your authorized capital which is issued to the public for the subscription. And then subscribed capital is the part of that issued capital which has been issued to the public for subscription, and where we also understood what needs to be done, okay, when it comes to a subscribed capital, how much is got subscribed, whether it is a full or equal subscription or under subscription or over subscription. So in case of over subscription, I given you one example where only 6,000 shares have been received. So checklist for that is 90% check on the issued capital. So you should get 6,300 as a minimum subscription. But in the first case, I gave only 6,000. So in that case, you are refunding the amount back. Whereas in the second case, you are getting 6,500 shares, though it is another subscription. In this case, you can proceed further because it has reached the maximum amount, that is the cross the minimum limit. Then you discuss something called called up capital, which is a part of your subscribed capital and which the company will call for the payment against the shares that has been allotted. And we also had a detailed study about the paid up capital. Okay, what is paid up capital is all about. And we had a compare and contrast with called up capital and paid up capital, where in case of paid up capital, full amount is paid up means what is the amount of called up and paid up. If in case a particular shareholder has not made a payment on a particular shares, then what will be your paid up capital? So there we had a compare and contrast also. And finally, we discussed something called reserve capital. So it is nothing but a part of your subscribed capital, which is being called up only at the time of closure, that is winding up of your company, not all times. And also some special notes whereby when you are calculating the consideration, in case of consideration cases, either in shares or on debentures, you are not supposed to round off the quantity of the shares or debentures to be issued. And then how you are going to find out the number of debentures to be issued, a formula to find out number of debentures to be issued, and the entry we also discussed. And the second point we discussed, like in case of over subscription, we are not supposed to utilize the excess application money even though if there is any against the call money due, unless and otherwise the question have given the permission to use it, else it should be refunded back. And then in case of category based problems, how to use the formula or how to apply the formula when applied shares are given but allotted is not given, or allotted shares are given applied is not given to us. So that formula we have discussed it. And then the two more important points which we discussed here are the lump sum method, you want account to be open, and equity or preference depending upon the category of shares. Okay, you'll have to make it up as equity share application and allotment account or preference share application allotment account. When the shares have been issued at a premium, you will have to open security premium reserve account, SPR, which we call shortly, but not to open SPR account because shortcuts are strictly prohibited. And why do you credit the account? Because it falls under the liability segment of the balance sheet. And if in case a question remains silent with respect to your premium on the shares, always you'll take it that it is on the allotment money only. But it need not be always on allotment money. In some questions, they will specify that the total premium amount is being splitted in such a way, some portion in application, some portion in allotment, some portion in calls. If that be the case, in application alone, you will not have the due entry. Straight away, you will start with the receipt entry. So never to show the premium in the receipt entry. So the only possibility in case of application is transfer entry. So in the transfer entry, you are showing the security premium reserve. Apart from application, the other things, whether it is a call or allotment, the amount of SPR, security premium reserve, will appear in the due entry because it has due. Then only you will collect the receipt. So that's how the value of equity or preference share, Okay, the security premium reserve is being highlighted here. So with this, I'm stopping the session for the day. Again, we'll be connecting today by night 9 o'clock sharp. So until then, if you have any doubt, please keep it marked. We'll discuss and resolve it. And in the night, we are going to start the problems. So theoretical part almost are done with 85 percentage got over. There are still few more aspects which is left over like employee stock option plan ESOP and 2 3 items which will come across when the problem we work it off. So while the problem we keep working on, we'll come to know what is that and how to work upon that. So as far as concerned, we are almost done with 90 percentage, 85 to 90 percentage of the entire theoretical aspects got over. So from today evening, we'll start working on the problems. The problems will have a different kinds, varieties, variations. So first, let me give you the what I'll just work upon the journal entries. Then we will be moving on with the problems. So journal entries, I'll give you separately. Please take down those journal entries, and then we'll work out with the problems. Right? So any doubts so far to anyone? Okay, hope you all would have learned something new. You got some concepts. Okay, thank you. Welcome, ma. Welcome, welcome, welcome.